Welcome to Cuphead, the game that was designed by a team of artists and sadists who somehow thought punishment and fun were synonyms. I'm here on a noble mission to collect every trophy in this game because clearly I value digital bragging rights more than my own sanity. So if you're into watching someone slowly lose their mind, oh my freaking god, that was so freaking hard that took me like a freaking billion tries, what the hell is this game? Stick around. We'll be going through every boss, every level, and every absurdly frustrating obstacle that Cuphead has to offer. I really hope you guys enjoy. So here's the story of Cuphead, because yes, apparently there's a plot behind all this chaos. Our hero Cuphead and his less adventurous brother Mugman stumble into a casino run by the devil himself. After a hot streak at the craps table, the devil shows up and raises the stakes. Win, and they get the whole casino. Lose, and they hand over their souls. Naturally, Cuphead rolls snake eyes, and now he and Mugman are forced into a little side hustle as the devil's debt collectors, running all over town and convincing other poor souls to cough up their contracts. So basically, you're playing as two caffeine addicts on a forced debt collecting mission for Satan. Classic hero's journey, right? Anyway, our first boss is the root pack. A potato, an onion, and a carrot walk into a fight and instantly remind me that vegetables are, in fact, deadly. The potato spits dirt balls like he's in a spud-based street fight, the onion cries a monsoon, and then there's that damn carrot. This thing's floating around shooting psychic beams from its eyes like it's trying out for the X-Men. If my salad ever acted like this, I'd throw it in the trash and never eat it again. There we go. Next up, we got Goopy Legrand, who's basically a giant blue gumball. He hops around like a kid who's had too much sugar, then he randomly transforms into a boxing glove with an attitude problem.
But wait! There's more!
Just when you think it's over, he dies and comes back as a tombstone. Cuphead's way of saying you're never truly safe. To beat Goopy, all you need is patience, skill, and ideally a therapist. Next up are Ribby and Croaks, two frogs who moonlight as boxers and apparently have a gambling addiction. They start by hurling fists, then turn into a literal slot machine that spits out coins, spiked traps, and who knows what else. It's like these guys were designed to be the embodiment of frustration. At this point, I'm pretty sure they hate you personally. This fight is like going into an arcade that's rigged against you, and you just keep pouring quarters in anyway. Next, there's Hilda Berg, a flying blimp that's here to make sure your dreams are filled with regret and terror. That laugh will stay in my nightmares for a while. She turns into everything, a tornado, a bull, and just for kicks, two angry twins who sing to you. If this boss fight was any more chaotic, it'd be my Saturday night. Nah, just kidding, I have no life. This is the Cuphead equivalent of a therapy session you didn't ask for but desperately need by the end. Finally, we have Cagney Carnation, a flower that skipped photosynthesis in favor of full-on rage mode. This guy's pulling every trick out of the gardening book, shooting seeds, launching thorny vines, and laughing like a Saturday morning cartoon villain while you struggle to survive. Just when you think it can't get any worse, he starts whipping out boomerang seeds that won't let you breathe. This flower's like that one boss who forgot they were supposed to be in the easy level. So World 1 was a warm-up, huh? World 2 is where Cuphead says, "You thought you knew pain? Let me show you what real agony looks like." Let's get into these World 2 bosses, each one more unhinged than the last. First up, we got Baroness von Bonbon, a sugar-rush nightmare who apparently hired Willy Wonka to build her a private candy army. You've got an angry jawbreaker, a little cupcake with rage issues, and a waffle that's somehow capable of making your life miserable. And don't even get me started on her. She sits on her cake throne, tossing her head at you like a medieval guillotine reject. And for what? To defend a kingdom made of lollipops and spite.
Nah, screw this piece of shit game.
Next, there's Jimmy the Great, the mystical genie who skipped helping Aladdin and went straight to torturing players. This guy throws everything at you. Spinning swords, giant cats, and sarcophagi that are somehow sentient. Jimmy's like the boss equivalent of that one person who has every item on their desks and insists they're all essentials. If I had a genie, my first wish would be to never fight this guy again. My second wish? Burn every copy of Cuphead that exists.
Oh, thank God.
Here we have Beppy the Clown, or as I like to call him, the reason I no longer like theme parks. Beppy's entire goal is to remind you that clowns should be feared. First, he's on a bumper car, then a balloon animal, and next thing you know, he's summoning a massive carnival ride to end you. It's like he took everything fun about a carnival and asked, how can I make this a nightmare? Pro tip, if you don't hate clowns by the end of this fight, you're probably the clown. And there's Wally Warbles, the bird who probably ate steroids for breakfast. Wally spends the entire fight trying to make scrambled eggs out of you. He's dropping eggs, throwing nails, and by the end, his own son shows up like, "Hey dad, need help obliterating this tiny cup guy?" I'd feel bad for him, except that I'm too busy dodging everything he throws at me. At this point, I've stopped asking questions and started accepting my fate. Finally, there's Grim Matchstick, a dragon who didn't get the memo that this isn't Dark Souls. This boss amplifies the difficulty by like 5. He has fireballs, clouds, and then decides to split himself into 3 heads just to spice things up. Imagine if a dragon hated you personally, and you'll get the idea. I swear I'd rather be running barefoot on Legos than dodging all this crap. And when I finally beat him, it felt like I just defeated my childhood fear of dragons and my adult fear of never getting the platinum trophy.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
We move on to World 3, where the game decides to stop playing fair and just actively tries to ruin your life. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're either a gaming god or a complete masochist. Let's meet the bosses who are here to break whatever's left of your spirit. First up, we got Rumor Honeybottoms, the queen bee of pain. This fight takes place in the giant honeycomb where the platforms move and every enemy is contractually obligated to annoy you. You've got flying cop bees throwing bombs, missiles flying around, and then there's the queen herself, pulling out giant buzzsaws and literal spells from her book of how to ruin a player's day. Honestly, by the end of this fight, I felt like I owed her money just for surviving. Next up is Captain Brinybeard, a pirate who's clearly compensating for something with his massive ship. He's got everything: barrel drops, rabid sharks, and a giant squid that inks the screen like it's trying to ruin your TV settings. Oh, and let's not forget the ship itself. It shoots a giant laser at you.
I'm a firing my laser!
By the end of this fight, I was less worried about the captain and more concerned about why the ship was alive. Someone call a marine biologist.
Okay, I beat it.
Next, we've got Sally Stageplay, who takes Drama Queen to a whole new level. This fight is literally a stage production, complete with props, actors, and a script that says, "Make the player suffer." She starts with umbrella attacks, then escalates to summoning babies, priests, and lightning like it's all part of her interpretive dance. Honestly, I've seen less chaos in actual Broadway musicals. Next, we have Werner Werman, a rat in a soup can with a vendetta. He starts off launching bottle caps and firing explosives because apparently rodent warfare is a thing now. But just when you think it's over, the cat shows up. That's right, a giant Tom and Jerry style cat that decides to take matters into its own paws. I don't even know who I'm fighting at this point, the rat, the cat, or my own will to keep going. Finally, holy shoot, how long did that frickin' take? Then there's Dr. Cal's robot, or as I like to call it, Pain.exe. This fight starts with a robot launching missiles, bombs, and lasers and somehow gets worse from there. Once you destroy it, the doctor himself comes flying in like a budget Iron Man to finish the job. This is the kind of boss that makes you question your life choices, your reflexes, and whether robots secretly hate humanity. Oh, I got it.
Ooh, I did it, I freaking did it.
Finally, there's Cala Maria, a mermaid who's less aerial and more Kraken's evil cousin. She starts by throwing fish and eels at you, and just when you think she's out of tricks, she turns into a stone-spewing gorgon. This boss is less about strategy and more about hoping you don't blink at the wrong time. I'm pretty sure this fight gave me trust issues with seafood.
Yes, I did it. Oh my god, okay, I did it.
And now the grand finale. After surviving a parade of unhinged vegetables, murderous mermaids, and whatever the hell that robot was, it's time to face the real masterminds of this nightmare, King Dice and the devil himself. Because why stop at regular bosses when you can go straight to Satan's HR department? King Dice is basically the devil's right-hand man, or maybe just his overly ambitious intern. Before you even get to fight him, you have to play his personal casino game, a board game that's rigged worse than a carnival dart throw. Every roll of the dice decides which mini-boss you'll fight, and let's be real, they're all just here to grind you into dust. When you finally reach King Dice himself, he whips out this absurd card shuffle attack, because apparently he moonlights as a magician who hates your guts. It's not just a fight, it's an endurance test, a patience check, and a personal vendetta all rolled into one. By the end, I wasn't even mad, I was impressed by how much he wanted me to fail.
Oh my god, I hate it. This sucks so bad.
And then there's the devil, the big cheese, the head honcho of suffering. You finally confront him in his hellish lair, and this guy does not disappoint. He starts by turning into a goat, because nothing says final boss like furry cosplay. Then he summons flaming poker chips, giant spiders, and a little army of demons, all while laughing like he knows exactly how close you are to rage quitting. But it doesn't end there. Nope. He pulls a phase 2 and transforms into a massive head inside a pit of fire. At this point, it's less about strategy and more about praying your fingers don't cramp. The fight ends when you finally whittle him down and he literally begs for mercy, because nothing screams satisfying victory like making Satan himself tap out. And for your trouble, a shiny, well done screen, and the sweet relief of knowing you never have to fight him again. Unless you hate yourself enough to try expert mode, which we'll get to eventually. First, we need to dive into all the run and gun levels, beating each one without killing a single enemy. Before we dive into the pacifist run and gun levels, let's talk about the Divine Relic, a little game changer that makes your life slightly less miserable. To get it, you first need to earn the Broken Relic by defeating the secret angel and devil boss. Now, to turn the Broken Relic into the Divine Relic, you need to equip it and defeat a handful of bosses. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. The Cursed Relic starts you with just 1 HP, randomizes your weapon, and basically turns the game into Cuphead Chaos Edition. But after surviving that nightmare, the Cursed Relic evolves into the Divine Relic, and suddenly it's your best friend. My god, what? Oh my god. Nice. Oh, thank god. Oh, and I got Paladin. Oh my god. There we go. We got the best relic in the game now. That's done. Now let's go ahead and beat all the run and gun levels without killing a single enemy. Forest Follies feels like dodging raindrops in a hurricane. Everything's out to get you. Flying acorns, angry mushrooms, and those blue blobs that don't understand personal space. Getting through without fighting back, it's less pacifist and more panic sprint to the finish. Treetop Trouble turns into a vertical climb of terror as bugs and flying creatures try their best to swat you out of the sky. Add in some sketchy platforms and wasps that apparently hate everything, and you've got yourself the ultimate exercise in patience, or rage quitting. Unfair Fever is like going to the worst carnival ever. Balloons explode, magicians throw cards, and every second feels like the universe is personally offended by your no-violence stance. By the end, you'll hate carnivals and clowns equally. Funhouse Frazzle takes the don't shoot rule and laughs in your face. You're flipping between the floor and ceiling, dodging living trumpets, and squeezing past giant walls of doom. It's a pacifist run that feels anything but peaceful. Perilous Piers makes you question everything. Fish jumping at you, crabs tossing platforms, and shrimp trying to box you in. And let's not forget the giant octopus ferry ride. Who knew seafood had such a grudge?
Okay.
Rugged Ridge is the final gauntlet of insanity. You've got charging lions, flying dragons, and collapsing platforms that give you zero time to breathe. The whole level feels like it's daring you to give up and start throwing punches. Oh my god. Wow, that was easy. What the hell? For the final challenge, we take on every boss in expert mode. Taking on every Cuphead boss in expert mode felt less like a challenge and more like a personal vendetta from the developers. Remember all the pain and suffering from your first playthrough? Yeah, expert mode cranks that up to 11, then adds a few extra layers of chaos just to remind you who's in charge. Every boss comes back with faster attacks, tighter patterns, and a look in their eyes that said, "Oh, you thought this was over?" Let's talk about a few standouts. Cala Maria? Oh, she's just not throwing fish and turning you to a stone anymore. On Expert, she barely gives you time to blink before firing off another attack. And those eels in Phase 2, they're basically a never-ending laser light show of misery. Then there's Rumor Honeybottoms, who took one look at Expert mode and said, let's go full unhinged. Her buzzsaws move faster, her projectiles feel like heat-seeking missiles, and those platforms? Yeah, they'll randomly betray you just when you think you're safe.
Yes, okay, that's another one down.
But the real MVP of suffering has to be Dr. Cal's robot. The first phase was already a nightmare on regular, but in expert mode, feels like dodging every attack at once while trying to disarm a bomb. The missiles are faster, the lasers are constant, and the bombs? They're basically everywhere. Phase 2 turns into a game of how fast can you react, because if you hesitate, you're toast.
Oh, I did it! 1 health. Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
And of course, King Dice and the Devil decided to embrace their inner sadists too. The mini-bosses in King Dice's board game, they've been juiced up to make sure no matter which one you roll, you're crying by the end. As for the Devil himself, his attacks on expert mode are faster, deadlier, and more relentless. It's like he personally invited you to hell just to show off his best work. The fights weren't just harder, they were relentless. Each one demanded pixel-perfect timing, inhuman reflexes, and the emotional stability of a monk. Spoiler, I had none of those. And yet somehow I kept going. Every parry was a gamble, every dodge a near-death experience. It wasn't just about skill anymore, it was about stubbornness, sheer willpower, and maybe a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome. By the time I defeated the last boss, I wasn't even celebrating. I was just relieved that I didn't have to hear another soul-crushing retry scream.
Ooh, I did it! I did it! I beat the game! I beat the game! Woo! There it is! And that's the whole game. Done. Oh, damn. Okay. That's it. There's Cuphead done in what? I don't even know how many hours. Not even that long.
And that's all, folks. Every boss, every run and gun, every trophy, and every ounce of my sanity sacrificed for your entertainment. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, first of all, thank you. You're a real one. Second, do me a favor. Hit that like button to let me know my suffering wasn't in vain, and subscribe for more trophy hunting chaos. Oh, and drop a comment below if you're still here. Tell me which boss made you question your life choices the most, or just type Cuphead is pain, so I know we're all in this together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, probably after some much needed therapy.